All right, guys. So look, I'm going to be brief with this one because I talked about this yesterday, but I just want to address something because I had a troll in my comment section implying that Fanon was right about Terence Crawford being on performance enhancing drugs. And what's so crazy is here we have the biggest fight coming up in boxing, in my opinion, September the 13th, by the way, in Las Vegas, Nevada. You have Canelo Alvarez, the face of boxing, versus the pound for pound king, Terence Crawford. Terence Crawford has scratched and clawed his way into this opportunity. He had a lot of obstacles standing in his way, people always trying to hold him down. But, Bud persevered, and now here we are. He's getting his shot at becoming a 3-time undisputed champion. He's getting his shot. And all you hear is people trying to tear him down. You hear people trying to assassinate his character. Fanon International, I guess that's the name of his channel, Fanon International, constantly saying that Bud is on performance enhancing drugs without any proof. But you have a guy in Canelo Alvarez who actually popped hot for an illegal banned substance back in the day, but there's no scrutiny there. Now, do I believe Canelo is on performance enhancing drugs leading up to this fight? No, I don't. And I'm not going to sit here and try to assassinate his character because I don't believe he's on there. He hasn't given me any reason right now to believe that. But my thing is, here's a guy who's never popped hot for anything, but yet he's the one being scrutinized for having drugs in his system. Make that make sense. Why are these guys so gung-ho on, tearing him down? It's almost like it's a personal vendetta. I knew a lot of these guys, they were big on Errol Spence Jr. So was I. I was a huge Errol Spence Jr. fan. But when it came time, I would say when he fought Errol Spence Jr., I was a bigger fan of Errol Spence Jr. I talked about this. But when I looked at Crawford, when I went back and I watched his fights and I looked at what he had done, his resume, his body of work, the skill set that he had, I had to be honest with myself. I had to be honest with my subscribers. When I made my prediction video, I said that Terence Crawford would stop Errol Spence Jr. And some people got mad at me. I was even at the fight. I was floor seats at the fight. And when people found out I said that Bud was going to win, their attitudes towards me changed. So I get it. People get emotionally involved in their favorite fighter. Me, not so much. I see what I see. I see if I see the truth, if I see something that I think's going to happen, yeah, I'm gonna be honest about it. And I was honest about that, even though I got some flack for it. But I was right. And a lot of people can't deal with that. Some of these content creators can't deal with that because they're in the business of agendas. They'll talk down on the mainstream media, but they'll turn around and do the exact same thing that they're doing instead of being objective. And the reason that they do that is because it gets them more views. If I was more biased, in my opinion, I would probably get a whole lot more views, but I'm not. And I'm not going to sell my soul for that just to get views. And I just can't do that. I'm not built that way. I'm just going to tell you guys what I honestly think, and I'm going to give you guys the truth straight up. Either you're going to like it or you're not going to like it. And the truth is, Terence Crawford's never been popped for performance enhancing drugs. So why should the narrative be that he's on drugs? Why should people get out here, be irresponsible, call themselves the media, and imply that he's on drugs? You have no proof of that. No proof. But anyway, like I said, I wanted to be brief on this one. I think it's important to counteract some of this stuff that's going on. There's other ones out there too that's always down in Bud. Boxing Ego, he's another one. But you guys know that. But anyway, you guys let me know how you feel about it in the comments section. It's the CMB. I'll talk to you guys in the next one. And I'm out. Peace.